In this Valuecase Academy video, I will show you the Valuecase corner visibility automation. You might already know that you can use the toggles here in Workspaces to show and hide certain things. So I can just click this toggle to hide this full block. I can click on the block and maybe just want to hide a few features. However, you can also automate these toggles, which is amazing if you, for example, have multiple use cases and based on use case, you just want to change certain parts of the space or you sell different modules and in your onboarding workspace, you just want to show a part of the onboarding because the customer just has 1 out of 3 modules. Now, to not create separate templates and not to make the operations too annoying when you create the workspaces and having to click always the same toggles again, we build an automation for this. And this basically allows you to build a variable and based on that show and hide certain things fully automated. So in this case, you see in the sidebar I have Jane, John, and Rodney. However, these only show Jane and Rodney if industry is finance. And John shows if industry is tech. This is a variable that I was asked for when I created the workspace. I said it's tech, and that's why both of these testimonials are not showing. So this already saved me a click. However, you can imagine you can have this in many different places of the workspace for action plan milestones, for specific pages or so, for specific testimonials, links, case studies, and so on and so forth. And this will really speed up the way you work with the platform. So let me show you how you set this up. First of all, in your dashboard, you will have to head to the space properties. And this is where you set up the variable. So you see I already have an industry variable here, and that is what I used for the demo I just gave you. However, let's create a new one, and I will add a property, space property, next, and then I will call it maybe customer type. And the options for this are, I just want to do a drop down, enterprise, or SMB. And then I can decide if this is required, and yes, it is, because otherwise the automation won't work. You could also go with a checkbox. This allows you to do a multi-select. So for example, you have 5 use cases and your customers buy 2 of those. You might want to have a checkbox so you can select use case 1 and use case 3, and use case 2, 4, and 5, you would just keep unselected. However, for this, I just want to show you this drop-down use case. Now we'll head to a template and just let me select this onboarding template here. In the template, you will find the configuration for the visibility automation always in the same place. In the sidebar, when you click the 3 dots, you have the set page automation here. And when you're in the blocks, you have the set block automation. It's the same thing. And if you click on it, you will see if select property is this, then show. That's the logic. I will explain in a sec. But you can also use this on a block level. So for example, if I only want to show this video in certain instances, I can do the same here. Now let's configure some automations. So let's say I want to have this onboarding at a glance block only if it's an enterprise customer. I can go on the left side and say set block automation and then say customer type is enterprise and then show. What you will see now is that the toggle disappears, which is important because you can't manage the visibility now anymore manually, right? It's fully automated. And we have this orange thing here appearing that shows you that an automation is active. So this way, you always see when an automation is there. You very quickly can spot if something is automated. In a workspace, by the way, you can always break the automations through the 3 dots, so you can control it manually again. But the basic mode is, we would just automatically show and hide the right things. So this is the first block. Of course, this would have been just one toggle in the workspace, right? But let's go also to the onboarding tasks and also take a look at this. So let's say I have a account and access milestone I only want to show again to enterprises. I can just go and say set item property, custom property here is enterprise. And this way I can fully automate the full space. So we can set up more. We could go just automate one of these forms or maybe parts of the form, parts of the questions here, and then basically build out all these automations. And now when I create the workspace, I will be asked for the customer type, I can fill it out and we will automatically show and hide the right things. So that's what I just want to do now. So let me go back to templates, just select create space here, and then enter a dummy customer Microsoft. Click next, select the right template, and now you see here, I'm asked for the customer type. I can say it's SMB, and then create the workspace. This will lead to all these blocks that I just selected in the automation will be hidden. So I have a totally customized workspace. I don't have this progress block anymore. In my onboarding tasks, one of the milestones is missing, and you can click here to see as well. The toggle is now deactivated. I can't control it myself. Another thing I can do now, so let's say I made a mistake, right? I put in the wrong customer type. Microsoft is actually an enterprise, which is true. I can go to settings, and you will always find all your properties here. So the customer type property with value SMB, you can just change this, and this will transform your whole workspace. And now I have the milestone accounts and access. And also when I go to my overview page, I will find this progress at a glance. Hopefully this gave you a good overview of the content visibility automation. This is really amazing to use, for different customer types, use cases, for different modules that you sell and so on. And you can fully automate your space without having to always use these toggles. And especially it's very, very helpful if you work with a bigger team, because then you don't have to onboard everyone on, hey, you have to think about these blocks or so. You can just build out the variable, they select it when they create their space, and then it's all ready and done for them, and they don't have to think about it or be onboarded on the process.